2.
Hi, my name is Amber. I'm going to be a rowing instructor for today. But before we get started seated on this rower, I want to go over the rower itself so you understand the components that make up the rower and how it all works together. First, we've got the flywheel. This rower uses wind resistance. That means the faster this wheel spins, the more resistance there's going to be. Also sounds pretty cool too. Really sounds cool. You'll hear that as we get into the class. Next, we have the damper setting on this flywheel, 1 to 10. In general, we would be setting the damper between 3 and 5. The damper setting doesn't change the resistance. It just changes the way the rower feels, heavy versus light. And you'll see that as we make adjustments to the damper setting. Today, though, I want us to start at level 3, so just make that adjustment. Then we have the performance monitor. This monitor is going to give us all sorts of good information about the strokes per minute, distance traveled, our pace, calories burned. Also included, we may be using later, are some pre-programmed drills where we can do some racing against each other. It's really fun. Next, we have the handle. Right now, this handle is in resting position up against this flywheel. And when we leave today, after this class, that's where this handle is going to go back to. But today, to get ready for class so it's more accessible to us on the rower, let's move this handle into the hook so it's a little closer to us. Then next, we have the flex foot. That's where our feet are going to go. We're going to be tightening our straps across the ball of our foot so we're nice and secure. Then we've got the seat. This seat, as you can see, moves nice and freely across this monorail, so we'll have a nice smooth rowing movement happening. Now if we step back, take a look at this rower. Looks pretty big, looks pretty sturdy, and it is, but it's actually very light and easy to move. So I'm just going to demo that really quick. We'll just come back behind, and you won't have to. The rowers are set up today in a nice formation, so you really shouldn't have to move with an effort if ever you need to. This is how you'll make that happen. We'll just pick it up from behind, then hold right here, and you can see as we lean forward, it's on roller, so you can move this any which way you want for good positioning. So we'll just leave this here now. So to get started rowing, I want us to have some good balance before we actually sit down. So you're going to straddle the monorail, move the seat back, and then get positioned just a little closer and have a seat. We're going to take our feet into the flex foot and tighten the straps across the ball of our feet, nice and sturdy. Now to get out of this, quick and easy as well, we would just loosen the straps, take the toe up, and lift the heel out. Well, speaking of the heel, you can see this foot strap is not tied to this base, so we have some nice movement. The heels can lift and get some flexion in the ankles and feet. So now to get started, I want us to take the handle out wide, soft grip, and we're just going to come back. We're going to start with a little pick drill just to get warmed up. So we're going to hold this handle nice and soft, wrist down, arms straight, and we're going to just pull back into the chest, just halfway between the lap and the chest, into the abs, and then release. So this pick drill, just pulling back and forward. Now let's talk about our body movement and positioning. Right now, if I'm sitting straight up and I was a clock, I'd be at 12 o'clock. If I lean back, I come back to 11 o'clock, and as I come forward, 1 o'clock. That's our range of motion. So we're going to be pulling back to 11 o'clock, and we're going to lean forward to 1 o'clock. So right now we're just rowing arms only, getting nice and warm, but then we're going to slowly start adding the legs into this movement. So we're just going to come forward just a quarter bit, the knees bend just a little bit, pull back to 11 o'clock, and then forward to 1 o'clock. We're going to come up just a little bit more, halfway, and just a little more 3/4 of the way, and back. All right, so now that we've got this nice little movement going, let's talk about the 4 movements that make up the rowing stroke. I'll demo that. We have a catch, where the chest comes forward into the knees. We're at 1 o'clock. Shins are perpendicular here. Then we have the drive, where we activate the legs, we come back. Then we have the finish, where the handles come into the chest, and then recovery, we come forward, and we're ready for the next catch. Now what we want to think about as we're going through this movement, and I'm going to hold this right here, not letting the knees or the legs come forward, is the box. So as we come forward, I want you to think about arms and legs making the box. And we're going to start adding everything together. We've got catch, drive, finish, recovery. Catch, drive, finish, recovery. Nice and smooth. So we're going to row at our own pace, chin and chest up. And we're going to get a nice rhythm going. I already hear the flywheel going. Sounds really cool. We're getting some good work. The heels can lift just a little bit. Nice movement. Now let's talk about our monitor in front of us. So I'm going to hold this here, and I'm just going to press the menu button, and that's going to get us back to the main menu. And we're going to pick this first selection at the top, and it says just row. So as we pick up the handles again and we start rowing, you're going to start seeing those numbers that are going to show us the length of time we've been rowing, the strokes per minute, the distance we've covered. It's going to give us some nice stats. So you want to have an eye on that every now and then to make sure you're maintaining your strokes, taking deep breaths in, chin and chest up, nice form, catch, drive, and recovery. Finish and recovery. Nice and smooth. So we're going to go through a couple drills. It's going to be nice and fun. We're going to get some good cardio work before we start our cool down. But then as we cool down, we're going to do some nice slow rowing that's going to reinforce the form that we did today. Nice and slow. Very purposeful. Getting our heart rate down. And as we start to cool down, our breathing comes back just to a little bit more of a centered breathing, deep breaths in, chin and chest up. And then we'll start our cool down, and we'll finish up with some stretching to finish this class. And we'll set these handles back into the hook, come up. We're going to get some nice upper body stretching, some nice lower body stretching on and off this. And before we leave, there's wipes over there. We're going to clean everything we touched on this rower. We'll take our feet out of the flex foot and come back up to center. Done. Okay, you guys are looking great. So in just a moment, I'm going to get off of this rower and I'm going to circulate around the room and I'm going to check your form, making any corrections as needed. Some of the things that we see is an early arm bend where you're pulling back here before you're fully extended. So if you are doing that, what you can do is go back to the basics, extend those legs, pull back, forward, come back, then the arms bend. Some of the other things that we see that happen is early knees bending before you're extended. So that is coming forward before we complete that movement. So what you can do to correct that is to go back to your pick drill. So we're just going to take the arms, and then we're going to slowly add in the knees. Push back, forward, knees, and back. So I'll be moving around the room, making some corrections to your form as needed, and we're going to get moving with the class.